Coconut cake recipe. Check out these 4 recipes. Recipe 1. Mile High homemade coconut cake. Ingredients for the cake: 2½ cups unbleached all-purpose flour, 1 tablespoon baking powder, ½ teaspoon kosher salt, 5 egg whites, room temperature, 3/4 cup whole milk, divided, 3/4 cup butter, 3/4 cup butter, room temperature, 1 3/4 cup granulated sugar, 1 teaspoon pure vanilla extract, 2 teaspoons pure coconut extract, butter and flour to grease the pans. For the coconut custard: 8 tablespoons butter, room temperature, 1 1/4 cup 35% cream, 3/4 cup of granulated sugar, 4 tablespoons cornstarch, 1 teaspoon pure coconut extract, 2 1/4 cups unsweetened shredded coconut. For the 7-minute frosting: 1 cup granulated sugar, 1/4 teaspoon kosher salt, 1/4 cup water, 2 egg whites, room temperature. For garnish: 2 cups unsweetened coconut flakes, toasted. Directions: 1. To create 2 round 8-inch cakes, trace the shape of 2 circular 8-inch pans onto 2 sheets of parchment paper and cut them out. Butter the bottoms and sides of the pans, then place 1 parchment circle into each, pressing it down into the greased bottom of the pan. Grease the top of the parchment paper, then sprinkle in a few tablespoons of flour. Tap the flour around in the pans to coat the bottom and sides. Tap out and discard excess flour. Set pans aside. 2. Preheat oven to 325 degrees Fahrenheit. 3. Stir flour, salt, and baking powder together. Sift and set aside. Add 1/4 cup of milk to egg whites. Whisk together and set aside. Whip butter in a medium-sized bowl using a hand mixer until light and fluffy. With mixer running, slowly add in sugar, bit by bit. Add in vanilla and coconut extracts. Add dry mix in small amounts, mixing until incorporated. Add the egg white mixture and beat for 2 minutes. Add the remaining milk and mix for an additional 3 minutes to create a smooth batter. 4. Divide batter between 2 prepared pans. Transfer to oven and bake for 35 minutes, rotating the pans at the halfway mark. Cakes are done when the tops are golden and a cake tester comes away clean. Transfer cakes in pans to a wire rack and cool for 10 Transfer cakes in pans to wire rack and cool for 10 minutes before inverting the pans and removing the cakes. Discard parchment paper. Cool cakes completely. 5. Toast the coconut flakes. Spread coconut flakes onto a parchment-lined baking sheet. Transfer to 325 degree Fahrenheit oven and toast for about 10 to 15 minutes or until flakes are golden and toasted. Transfer to a bowl and cool completely. 6. Prepare the coconut custard. Melt butter in a medium-sized saucepan on medium-high heat. Add the cream and sugar and stir until the sugar dissolves. Heat this mixture, and just before it comes to a boil, whisk in the cornstarch. Cook until the mixture thickens. Remove from heat and stir in the shredded coconut. Then stir in the coconut extract and transfer to a bowl. Cover with storage wrap and cool completely. 7. Prepare the 7-minute frosting. Place a medium-sized stainless steel bowl over a pot containing about 1 inch of simmering water. Add the sugar, salt, and water and stir to dissolve. Add the egg whites and whisk to combine. Whisk continuously until the mixture warms and becomes frothy. Exchange whisk for hand mixer. Beat mixture on high for 6 minutes until very light and fluffy, and the frosting holds stiff peaks. Remove from heat and beat for an additional minute to cool the frosting. 8. Assemble the cake. Place cake layers side by side on a flat surface. Run a sharp knife horizontally through each cake, dividing each into equal layers, 4 in total. Place 5 or 6 dollops of the frosting into a storage bag and snip off one corner to create a piping bag. Set aside. 4. Take a cake plate, placing it onto 9. Take a cake plate, placing onto a Lazy Susan if you have one. Invert the top half of one of the cakes onto the center of the cake plate. Cut strips of parchment paper and gently lift the edges of the cake, sliding the strips underneath to protect the plate from icing. Repeat until the four strips of parchment are placed in a square shape to cover the cake plate. 10. Dogs. 10. Using the piping bag, run a thin line of frosting along the outer edge of the cake. Add 3 or 4 dollops of the custard into the center. Using an icing palette, spread the custard out into an even layer across the top until it just meets the icing dam. Invert the bottom half of the cake on top and repeat the same process on the second and third layers. After adding the final layer of cake on top, add a generous dollop of the frosting, smoothing it out across the top of the cake. Frost the sides of the cake, distributing it to evenly cover. 11. To apply the toasted coconut, sprinkle coconut flakes on a small section of the side of the cake, then gently press with a piece of parchment paper so that the flakes stick to the frosting. Repeat in small sections until the sides of the cake are covered. Sprinkle the top of the cake with more coconut flakes. Add additional flakes to any open spots until it's evenly distributed. 12. Gently pull parchment strips away from the underneath the cake, removing excess frosting and flakes in the process. Brush away any stray flakes and remove frosting smears with a slightly damp towel. Recipe 2. The easiest coconut cream cake, made from a box mix. Ingredients: 1 box white cake mix, 1 can 142 1 can of 140-ounce sized cream of coconut, 2 cups or more of shredded coconut, 8 ounces Cool Whip. Instructions: 1. Prepare cake as directed on box in a 9x13 pan. Let cool to slightly warm. 2. Using a chopstick or something else small and round, poke holes over the entire cake. 3. Pour the cream of coconut over the top of the cake. Make sure to go slowly and allow the cream to soak into the cake really well. 4. Allow the cake to completely cool. Chilled overnight is best, and top with Cool Whip. 5. Sprinkle the shredded coconut all over the top of the cake. Chill in the fridge until ready to eat. Recipe 3. Simple coconut cake recipe. Ingredients: For the cake batter: 4 eggs, 1 cup sugar, 1 cup whipping cream, 1 cup desiccated coconut, vanilla extract, baking powder, 1½ cups all-purpose flour. Garnish: powdered sugar. Instructions: 1. In a large mixing bowl, break whole eggs. 2. Stir sugar into eggs and combine well. 3. Add desiccated coconut, whipping cream, baking powder, and vanilla extract to the batter and combine. 4. Pour some flour into the mixture and whisk until combined. Add more flour in stages and combine each time until all of the flour has been mixed into the cake batter. 5. Preheat oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit or 180 degrees Celsius. 6. Pour batter into your cake pan. No need to grease if it's a non-stick pan. If it's not, grease with butter or oil. 7. Bake cake at 350 degrees Fahrenheit or 180 degrees Celsius for about 40 minutes, or until baked through. Test if the cake is done by poking with a toothpick into the cake. If it comes back clean, it's baked. 8. Leave the cake to cool a bit. Place on a serving tray and sprinkle with powdered sugar. 9. Serve up and enjoy. Recipe 4. Coconut cream pie poke cake. Recipe 4. Coconut cream pie. Recipe 4. Recipe 4. Coconut cream. Motherfucker. Recipe 4. Coconut cream pie poke cake. Ingredients: 1 15.25-ounce white cake mix, 1 14-ounce can of coconut milk, 1 cup half and half or whole milk, 3/4 cup sweetened shredded coconut, 1/3 of a cup plus 1/3 of a cup plus 2 tablespoons white sugar, 1/4 teaspoon salt, 5 large egg yolks, 1/4 cup cornstarch, 1 tablespoon butter, 1 1/2 plus 1/2 teaspoons vanilla extract, 1 1/2 cups heavy cream, toasted coconut. Instructions: Make cake mix according to package directions in a 9x13 pan. Allow to cool. Poke holes in cake with end of a wooden spoon. Set aside. In a medium saucepan, combine coconut milk, coconut, 1/3 cup sugar, and salt. Bring to a simmer and stir occasionally. While mixture is cooking, in a separate bowl, whisk egg yolks, 1/3 cup sugar, and cornstarch. Once coconut mixture comes to a simmer, pour 1/2 cup into egg yolk mixture. Whisk quickly. Add additional 1/2 cup of coconut milk to egg mixture and keep whisking. You are bringing egg mixture up to temperature so the eggs don't curdle. Pour egg mixture into coconut milk and continue whisking until mixture has thickened and a few bubbles have surfaced. Remove saucepan from heat and whisk in butter and vanilla. Set aside until mixture cools to a warm temperature, mixing every 5 minutes to help it cool quickly. Pour coconut cream mixture over cake. Spread with a spoon to make sure it covers entire cake. Allow to cool completely. Once cake has cooled, blend together 2 tablespoons white sugar, 1/2 teaspoon vanilla, and heavy cream until stiff peaks form. Spread whipped cream over cake. Top with cooled toasted coconut. You can toast on stove or in oven. Serve immediately or cover with plastic wrap and refrigerate until ready to serve. Remove from fridge 1 hour before serving.